Hello and welcome to When It's Convenient, podcast number 0.
Episode 0. We are in it.
Yeah,
I was going to say back in the saddle, but that doesn't really apply.
No, we are hopping into the saddle for the first time.
This is the very first time. I hear it's a lot like falling off a horse.
Being in the saddle
Being in the saddle
is a lot like falling off the horse.
It's a very confusing
It's a
metaphor.
stack of horses.
One after the other.
Anyway.
Obviously, you're here through some miracle because you found a link or you listened to me on Facebook or something. But you would evidently know then where our YouTube is. We're here. We're at
Convenient Gaming.
We haven't earned a proper YouTube URL that's easy to say.
Okay.
It's got too many characters.
Oh, wow.
But you must know where it is, and I guess I might put a link in the description.
That sounds great.
But,
Have a link in
yeah,
the
I'd be
deleted.
linking to myself.
That's fine.
Linkception.
Self-linking.
Yeah.
Just keep going. You can also find Alex. He's got a Twitch at Professor Lex,
Yes.
I believe is the
Twitch.tv/Professor Lex.
Yeah.
I think it's Professor_Lex.
So the goal here is for us to discuss video games, our sort of take on the industry, where things are, what games we're excited for, what we're playing, that sort of thing. Also, we stream more regularly now, and
It's true.
We're hoping to upload videos more regularly than once every 4 years.
Yeah, don't pay any attention to the timestamps on the other videos
No, just
on this
watch
channel.
them.
Just
They're-
look at them. They're funny.
Yeah, we have a great, if you're familiar with Dino Crisis, it's great.
Really, that's our finest work.
Resident Evil with Velociraptors, and really you should just get enough of it from that.
And before we get too far, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Brooklyn Brewery. They have chosen to provide us with...
This is the Defender IPA.
It's got a superhero on it, and that is definitely our official sponsor for this episode. We're not making this up. This isn't a lie.
Are we allowed to say that they're a sponsor?
I think parody is fair use.
Okay, this is
So
parody.
definitely sponsored.
Those
If
were
you
air
can't-
quotes
yeah.
if you couldn't hear them. Yeah. Brooklyn Brewery, if you want to
We are
support
not
us,
above it.
yeah, please feel free. We like your beer, and this is tasty stuff. I would recommend it.
Drinking a straight hop, which is good if you're into hops.
Right, I like hops, so that's part of that.
That's it.
That I guess that is part of the spiel as well. We've done that for streams as well as
Yes.
for recording. We have typically had a beer, called it out, and enjoyed it while playing games.
Because they sponsored us. I
Again,
have
air quotes.
trick joints in my hands,
Ooh,
so
you
you
can
might
hear 'em.
actually be able to hear.
Right.
But if you can't, it's okay. So, like I said, you probably got a link from Facebook if you're watching this, or, God willing, you actually stumbled on this through the miracles of YouTube and the internet.
That's amazing. What a great thing the internet is sometimes.
But we're gonna pretend like you don't know who we are, and that's a totally fair possibility. So I'm Alex, Professor Lex, if you know me from fighting games or if you watch my Twitch.
It's true.
I'm 27 years old. I work in IT. I've been playing video games since I can remember, literally. My first memory is actually Chemical Plant Zone from Sonic 2.
Oh, wow.
That would have made it Christmas 1992.
Is that right?
That's the very first one. That's of all of my memories. It's not even
Christmas
Green Hill Zone.
1992?
Christmas 1992 Chemical Plant Zone, which is the second level in Sonic 2.
So I blanked
skipped
out all of
Green Hill Zone, and it's a fine level, and I have nothing against Green Hill Zone.
It's just not your first
right.
memory.
It's not
of
the very
gaming.
first memory. Well, no, not of gaming. That's the one. That's
your
Alex
first-
started at 2 playing on Christmas.
Wow.
So I was 2 and 3 months ish.
That's intense.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty good.
So I've been playing fighting games. I've been reasonably active in the fighting game scene for it's 2017. We'll say 7 to 9 years,
That's probably about right.
give or take.
I guess we could date it by
We really
which
could.
fighting game it would be that you started playing.
Street Fighter 4 for the PS3 back
Yeah.
in 2009.
There
So
you
that
go.
would be 8 years now.
Yeah. So you were right there in the
I was
in the window.
Early onset.
Good job.
Yeah. Aside from that, I like. I was going to say
Games.
fighting games again.
Yeah, you can like fighting games again.
I still like them.
They're still
They're
okay.
good. I like RPGs. I like music games.
True.
I like games. Games are good. I have opinions on them a lot of the time.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't you do you?
I'm Jeff. I am also 27 years old. At time of recording this, I'll be 28 in like a hot minute.
It's true.
So, let's see.
One foot in the grave. Go ahead.
My first memory was not a gaming memory. My
That's
first gaming memory was probably Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I think it was. Okay, like the beginning of my gaming career was spent watching. I was a Twitch watcher before
Twitch was twitching.
Yeah, that's how hipster gamer I am right there. I was watching people play games
Before it was cool.
before there was a name for that besides that guy over there.
I think the word for that back in the day was just having a sibling.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or
I don't have siblings.
you don't have those. But
Way to rub that in.
Yeah,
I didn't
sorry.
lose my siblings.
that would be awful.
Right? That would be terrible. I'm an
I
only
wouldn't
child.
do that in the
Yeah,
first
no.
episode. That's episode 6 shit.
Where it gets dark.
Yeah.
That's the darkest timeline episode.
So
I also enjoy games. I would say the majority of them. Oh man, I'm playing a lot of indies lately. What have become known as walking simulators.
Ooh.
I would say narrative first games. Let's go.
I like that
straight
because
up.
it makes it sound less boring.
Right? Because I've walked before. I don't need to simulate that. I know I know what it's about. I've done it. Action adventure games. Let's see. Since the genres that we've got to describe things are awesome. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah,
action adventure,
absolutely.
comedy.
You learn so much
Drama.
about a game based on just the description of the genre.
Been playing survival horrors with Alex.
It's good.
Yeah, I recommend Buddies for survival horror experiences.
If you've got someone there, it immediately takes like 90% of the heart pounding,
Palpitations.
the
straight
the
up
impending heart attack away.
Hand sweat that like
The
makes
hand sweat makes the game a lot harder, and
It's
I don't
true.
know if that was an intentional feature.
I don't know if
Yeah.
somebody they collected samples. They had the testing.
The swabbing down the controllers.
The
yeah.
QA for that was that you had to have your hands swabbed after every 10 minutes of gaming. That sounds awful. I hope that was never
I
the
really
case.
don't want that to have been the case.
No one should have to go through that, especially alone.
That's why you need a buddy.
That's why you need a buddy. So, yeah, I think those... Yeah, I also have opinions on games, and I feel like Alex and I approach it from different things. We've had different game systems growing up. The first system I owned, I guess, was an N64.
I started off on the Sega Genesis back in the day, but that was obvious from the Sonic 2 story.
You could have... I mean, somebody else could have had it. That could have been
strictly
necessarily
speaking,
been your...
It was my dad's.
Well...
And then I took it from him.
Right.
Yeah. Not like forcefully or anything. I just
No, your
used
dad's a
it
nice
more
guy.
than
He
him.
would have just let you have it. Yeah.
He's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess everyone started off on those platformers because that was just kind of like the birth. I'm not gonna. We're '90s kids. This radical.
Do we count
but,
Sonic as a platformer? Is that what it's like?
I would.
Okay.
You
Not a
jump.
family game?
It's got.
Never
we're
mind.
still hot off the video game awards. I am so heated.
Jeff Keighley, if you want to sponsor us, we'll talk about you.
No, I
Seems
mean
like a nice guy.
So Sonic, I guess, did have an impact on me.
Sure.
In that, like, the music of Sonic really hooked me and geared me in. That's something.
Yeah, that I didn't mean to step on you.
No, you're good.
That's something I have learned from Alex. I don't typically. I'm always surprised by like the music that I recognize in games, but I don't necessarily just immediately think about it. I guess.
yeah,
I'm
no,
not
that's-
immediately like, yeah.
That's part of the experience as much as the precision jumping.
Right, and
Yeah.
see, Alex always calls those things out. It's like, oh yeah, that's got great music. You know how Green Hill Zone goes, or like you know how Chemical Plants are, right? And like can go straight to it.
It's right there, along with all of the sound effects. And,
sound effects I'm better at, but not
not music yet.
not music.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm working on it.
With Sonic, I had the joy of precision jumping. I don't know if you've ever played Sonic 2, but you should. Even if you don't get all the way through it, it is a difficult game where you jump on things and try not to die. And like the going fast is the goal,
Right.
but You have to be like accurate while you're going fast.
Right. Someone said you have to go fast.
You must gotta go fast. Right. In essence. But okay, so all of the joy of playing Sonic comes from going fast, and the only way to go fast well is not to die. And so I learned very early on that the only way to be good at and enjoy a game was to be like solid at it the whole way through. You had to like actually try. And so a lot of the games that I play are kind of, I don't know, cruel. Because you learn to jump, and then you gotta expound.
You gotta learn real fast.
Yeah.
Stay alive during these things.
I feel like that really shaped how I play a game. Because like I love, I'm about a story first, but if a game doesn't have that sense of challenge to it, then I become bored and disinterested very quickly. Like Xenosaga is a hilarious, great game. It's the hardest DVD menu I've ever played, and I love it. And I'm fine with sitting through a 45-minute cutscene if on the other end of that cutscene is a boss that's just going to wipe my whole party out.
Yeah, that was a bad deal for you. Right?
Yes, I actually had to stop playing Xenosaga because I got
Was
locked
that
in.
Xenosaga, or was that Star Ocean?
It's a lot of RPGs for me, Jeff.
Alex has a thing in RPGs. Alex hates a grind.
It's
and
true.
like most people don't necessarily just like a grind, but they'll tolerate a grind or like go to that part of their brain that's sort of zen, and then they'll just have it done. And then Alex is like, no, I'm just gonna do the part before or after that and beat that or not. And if I don't beat it, then I'll just come back and beat it again. Or
And sometimes coming back and beating it again later means that Jeff got me Star Ocean 3 Till the End of Time in my junior year of high school, and I am now going back because I have now mentally prepared myself for going through that entire game
takes some
again.
time.
Yeah, because I got locked out at the 95% mark. That's
Right.
where I stopped being able to play.
see, that would like crush me.
Yeah.
That would-
Well, it
not-
did crush me.
Understandably. I mean, it's been a number of years since.
That's so many years.
But yeah, it tends to go into it a little under-leveled. You'd say, like, whenever in the guides, they'd be like, recommended level is like, Alex.
That's a challenge,
Yeah.
or something that I just straight up ignore.
Right.
I don't like listening to that. But how's gaming for you? When you approach a game, how do you know that you're doing it right? How do you know that you're enjoying it?
I guess from those early N64 days, would probably be Mario. If I had to think
Mario
about
64?
Mario 64,
Okay.
yeah. In terms of like, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of 2D Mario experience, and that's fine.
Just
That's
drop
fine,
that,
internet.
gonna walk away. Please stay.
Yeah, no. Mario 64 is great. So like that's a lot about feel. Like that's an interesting game. It's less. I won't say there's not precision platforming.
No. There's still. Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly that feel, but I guess it's less. Certainly less immediately aggressively challenging.
Yeah. I'm
Super
not gonna
Mario's
say
got
holds
some
your
more
hand.
forgiving.
Yeah.
Like
Eases you into
game
it.
states than the other, unless you're just in Rainbow Cruise, in which case that
Yeah,
is just a
you're not meant
monster.
to enjoy that.
No,
so
it's just a bad place. It's pretty cool though. I went back and played Mario 64 like a year or
was
so
that
ago.
1 year?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's good. It's good. It's like one of those you can knock out over.
I was told that. I tried to play Mario 64 and it didn't work.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We'll have
Me
to.
too. We'll rectify it.
We could go through that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a thing we could stream. We could probably go back and talk about. Yeah, that's a good one. So, like I like gaming challenge. I get the things that sort of like mire me down are whenever you have to get really in depth from like a stat standpoint. Like that'll take me right out of it.
You don't like to see the magic? Like
That's not the magic.
No.
The magic is just like what's happening.
Yeah,
what you're
when it's
experiencing,
impressed
as
on
opposed
you
to
and
like,
everything just goes.
Ooh, man, I equipped a ribbon and now I've got +4 strength. And it's like that's.
You don't like to see what causes the magic. You don't like for them to pull back the curtain.
Well, it's not even so much like that. I think if you just have stat numbers, like I like an item or an ability that does a thing. Like this makes you jump higher. This gives you a double jump, or this is
Okay.
like this does a thing, like a tangible thing, as opposed to this gives you +4 strength, and it's like
You
might
don't
be
like
able
to
to-
see the math.
maybe.
Math isn't sexy. At least
I
of
don't
all in
wanna
a
say
video
that.
game.
I don't want to say that. There's probably some sexy numbers out there.
It's like 2. No.
But yeah, so like that takes me out of an experience. So that's part of, I think, why I've enjoyed the so-called walking simulators, is that there's really it's a straightforward experience.
Yeah.
Like, you go in, they want to tell you a story. The way that you engage with that story is just sort of like by investigation and by like inhabiting that space. I was like that within a game versus like, hey, a lot of the time that you're going to spend in this game is going to be in a menu. And like that's
Menus are also a spooky thing. Not the spookiest of things that we've played recently. Like, the menus were probably the nicest part of Resident Evil. The friendliest.
There's a calm
Yeah, you know
sense
that
where-
nothing is going to hurt you.
Right,
in a
it's
menu.
not a dead space where the menu is just you taking your eyes away from other things that are going to kill you.
Which is so horrible.
Right?
But
What a great game.
That's good. It's good. See, now, investigation is something I've never actually been able to get behind in a game. Not that it doesn't have its purpose,
like
and not
LA
that...
Noir. You
That's
play
different.
as an investigator.
That's different. That's
A
my
detective.
role. That's my
A
job.
detective.
To be the good detective,
Yeah.
I have to.
We
look
don't
at
just have like
selective speech impediments.
right.
If you've
No.
ever played LA Noire, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah,
If you
you-
haven't played LA Noire, I think
the
we're gonna
HD
get.
thing is out. Yeah, you should go play it, and you should watch us whenever we probably play it.
I
And-
think we're gonna do it. It's been long enough, and it comes with all the DLCs. So.
Yeah, and you like call up the phone, and the lady at the police station is like,
She
"Hello,
has an
detective."
accent, not a speech impediment.
I think
but an
she's.
accent.
I just always thought she was just an old lady. Like, I
She
was to
could be
picture
old.
like a nice librarian type lady on the other
I
end
had
of the
that
phone.
same image with the
Nice.
glasses
Oh,
with
yeah.
the little dangly beads.
Oh,
and
I
the,
hadn't
the
gone to
hair in a
dangly
bun.
beads, but yeah,
Wow.
certainly like white hair and
Yeah.
like big, thick glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Coke bottle glasses. Yeah.
So what I meant by investigation isn't literal investigation, because one of the games that I absolutely loved from this year was Danganronpa. I've got
is from this year.
So well, DR3
Three
is.
Yeah.
The other two I did play this year.
That's right.
I believe.
Yeah, sort of
So I-
mainline those.
yeah,
That's good.
Oh, I guess 3. But yeah. I kind of cracked out on them. Those are a murder mystery investigative type game. They've got other elements to them, and I'd love to go into that, and I'm sure I will sometime. But
Oh yeah, we are probably going to do like retrospectives on games and things as like other. Whenever we're not just doing like a broad sort of what we're playing, what we're about podcast, we'll probably go into like retrospectives.
this one's kind of to break you into easy.
Yeah,
Lane. This is the
give you
Super
some
Mario
feel.
64 of intro podcasts. This is not the Sonic 2 of intro podcasts. But in those games, in the Danganronpa games, they've got the investigation in LA Noire as well.
Mm-hmm.
The investigation is the crux of the storytelling device,
Mm-hmm.
and you do that, and you are good at it or not good at it, and it drives the plot. And I don't engage with environments unless there's a gun to my head. And I guess in Danganronpa and LA Noire, there is a proverbial or literal gun sometimes to your head.
Sure.
In other games like your Zeldas or your Resident Evils, the worst thing in the world is when someone says, "Go that way," and they point left, and there's just a field full of possibilities. It overwhelms me. It scares me.
Alex is not into the exploration part of games.
It
He is.
freaks me right out. There are too many things to do, and I like to do one thing and do it well. And I guess maybe that's part of why Danganronpa and LA Noire were so good for me.
It's a very direct
Yeah.
experience.
Investigate the murder on it.
Do you want to drive around LA? No, I'll
No.
let my partner do that. Thank you, Rusty. Yeah. That's fair.
Do you have a kryptonite in games aside from the unsexy math and the menus?
Yeah, menus. Oh man. Yeah. So those are one of them. Turn-based battle system has to be interesting.
Love that.
Has to be interesting for me. And when I say interesting, okay, I just recently played through a little game some people like to call Undertale. I don't know if you've heard about it.
It's kind of a cult sort of indie. It's kind of a cult, just not a cult classic, just a literal cult.
Just an actual cult. Yeah, just recently played through Undertale, and that game's awesome. I would very much recommend it. I'm sure you've heard that from not me on a lot of other things, because it is in no way, shape, or form a secret that
It's not
Undertale is
small.
good.
It's good. You should play it, unironically.
yeah,
It's just a
but-
good thing.
Totally has a turn-based, I guess you could say battle system. It's got a turn-based system of engaging
There's a
with
combat
enemies.
system.
Yep.
Combat occurs,
Yeah.
whether or not you choose to murder.
That's true. And I thought that was interesting because it's more more of a puzzle. Like, if you go into a thing and we're both taking turns whacking at each other, that takes me out of an experience. If it's like...
Is it because you realize you're playing a game?
No, it's because I get bored.
When it's not going...
When it's just like, hey, I shaved like 4 more health off of that guy. He shaved 3 more health off of me. It's like, I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
It's like, he is going to take off less health than me, and I just have to get to the end of this where he's not around to do it. Like, that's
not
just
fun
chores.
anymore. Yeah.
That's like...
Well, I mean, chores are like Animal Crossing. I can't imagine a more boring game.
I haven't played. My experience with Animal Crossing has been secondhand, and I've also played Pocket Camp, which, as I understand, is not a true Animal Crossing
yes,
game.
that is what I have heard as well.
So,
but
not to rag on real Animal Crossing.
If you haven't heard of Undertale because you haven't listened to people before,
that's fine. You don't have to.
That's okay. We're not judging, but like it's a turn-based combat system in that you get to choose an action, and the action does or does not have an effect, and then.
There are also interesting things where it's like, hey, do you want to hug this enemy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, the shmup is great.
That's what I'm saying. Because, the puzzle aspect is figuring out how to make these monsters not want to hurt you. Or to just kill it. But if you want to play the pacifist route, which is what Jeff did, you have to figure out how to make these monsters happy and leave you alone.
Right.
And then
you
go
still have
through
to survive their part. Yeah, like whenever when it's their turn to attack you, it's you, it's like a little ship. And it's just represented by a little heart. And you're supposed to avoid like all the enemy fire, and all of those take interesting aspects depending on what enemy you're up against. And if you're up against more than one enemy, then both of those things happen simultaneously, which is really interesting. So there's like no time to fall asleep at the wheel. There's the puzzle aspect of like trying to work out what you need to do in order to make this guy either stop railing on you or just like happy, which is great. And then on your turn, or on their turn, where you get to play, you're doing a shmup, and that's like comfort food for me. So,
so that I guess I don't know if we intended to do that like that, but I talked about a way that investigating a world didn't hurt me, and you talked about a way that turn-based combat didn't hurt you.
That's the beauty of game design. There's a whole lot of like crazy cross-pollination of things now. That's just wonderful.
It's a good time to play games.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, the best part of playing games now is that all the games before now are still there.
Right.
And they're still making new ones. So, like,
there are some
things can't go wrong.
That are harder to find. But, yeah, like, Alex's recommendation of Sonic 2. You could go out and find Sonic 2 for any number of consoles right now.
It's pretty easy. If you've got a Wii, you should just be doing this instead. Well, I'm not going to say instead of, but in addition to
after the podcast, you should go find and play Sonic 2 and see what that's about.
If you don't feel like that, Sonic Mania came out recently and got snubbed at the Video Game Awards.
We're not.
That's not this episode. We'll save that for another time.
It didn't win the Video Game Awards. It was in the family category. We're not going to go.
We're not going to get into it.
Sonic Mania is great.
I'm mad, but
Sonic Mania is great for a number of reasons. First off, is that Sega gave the reins to somebody else
who knew what to do with the game.
Who knew that people were just like, hey, we really enjoyed the 2D platformer, intense, like
precision jumping,
high octane, want to be in a nice like game flow state, and so they were like, hey, we haven't been able to do that for a little while. Why don't you guys do that? And they let them do it. And they gave them like their assets, and they gave them a decent production budget. And I assume, actually, I have no idea in terms of what the actual numbers are. Yeah, right? That's cool. And then they put out Sonic Forces. So, whatever. Things happen.
Everybody makes mistakes. And right? Sega makes a lot of them.
Sega, if you're listening to this...
We still love you for some reason.
Right. Some of these things are really nice. You should keep those up. And bring me back Jet Set Radio.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's one for the stream.
Yeah, Jet Set Radio. Good stuff.
Yeah. So,
are we into? We got.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes.
We're trying to keep these around half an hour because we figure that's a good amount of time. You're not going to get like wiped out by listening to this, and then it also like keeps us from just like getting
going
crazy minute details of things,
which is great, and we'll do that. But you don't want to hear us go into minute detail for more than like 20 minutes at a time. I was aiming for like a to work from work sort of ordeal.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I hope you can get that in your commute.
So originally I'd planned for about 15 minutes of question and answer, but instead we've got 5. So,
So what was your?
Here's my driving question for you,
Yeah.
because we were going to ask you guys for some questions and answers, and if you
Yes.
guys want to give us those for the next episode, that would be swell.
Right.
Jeff, in as little time as you can explain,
Yeah.
what is the best game you've ever played, and is it your favorite game?
And I was thinking about this because Alex sort of let the cat out of the bag that he was going to ask this question. Favorite game is, I don't know, it's probably Shadow of the Colossus whenever I'm painting.
Okay. It's all right.
It
You're
might
on
be
the
that.
spot.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed Uncharted 4. Even though, okay, so in the context of Uncharted series, let's say I've said that probably Uncharted 4 is probably my favorite, just because of a lot of things that come together. The best game out of the Uncharted series is probably Uncharted 2.
2, yeah. Right? Because they did everything right that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff. So, yeah, in terms of like having no time for a question, I was going to ask you about, let's see, what series would you most like to see revived?
Revived.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Yeah.
What a great question. And I'm glad you asked, and obviously I'm stalling for time.
That's totally fine.
Ah.
It can be Dino Crisis. You could say it. I won't.
So I've got this soft spot in my heart for Dino Crisis 2. I got spooked by the Resident Evil Director's Cut for the PlayStation 1. My cousin Ryan had it on his PlayStation, and I thought I could play this. And I was wrong, and I was like 8, and I was wrong. And
too intense.
zombies are too scary for me. Still.
Alex has a real fear of zombies.
Zombies, Claymation, Heights.
There you go.
Probably that order.
Nice. Sinkholes, brain aneurysms, probably Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's
actually.
is
Yeah,
pretty
like-
spooky. But like Dino Crisis is this sweet spot for me because dinosaurs are awesome and zombies are spooky. So Dino Crisis is just literally Resident Evil except with velociraptors instead of zombies. And so they made a third game for that series.
You've got it.
And I own it, and we'll play it on stream
Right,
along with
that'd
the other
be crazy.
two. But like, it's not good. It's not a good game, and it's not a thoughtful continuation of the series. And so if I had to say that I wanted one series to be revived, it would probably be that, or maybe Melty Blood. But that's a whole different, long-winded explanation.
Interesting can of worms stuff.
Yeah, and it's just all at once, and on the episode 0, we're not even into real episodes yet. So. That said, we appreciate you guys tuning in and putting up with us for 28 minutes and 7 seconds, give or take. It's probably longer than that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but
Good work.
for the next episode, I think we're supposed to be talking about 2017, maybe.
That's true.
We're gonna have a handful of these uploaded probably before this one comes out. So still ask us questions.
Oh, yeah.
We'll still answer them. I'm going to take notes on every one of them that gets asked.
We'll stall for time and ask each other questions until we have like a suitable number to just like ask each other back and forth
From
what
you
you
guys.
guys
Yeah.
have put out to us.
So if you guys want to ask us anything about who we are, about what we're playing, what we're up to, feel free to leave us a comment here, or you could tell me in person if that's possible for you. And at either rate, we really appreciate you guys tuning in.
Oh, absolutely.
Looking forward to doing more of these in the future. So if you guys want to hit us up, we're on Twitch, twitch.tv/ProfessorLex.
Right
this
here
is
at
our
Convenient Gaming on YouTube. And if you've got any suggestions for what you'd like to see from the podcast or hear from the podcast, I guess, let us know, and we'll try and do our best to make that happen.
So I guess until next time, then.
Check us out.
That's us.
That's convenient.
It's convenient, and when it's convenient for you, we'll be here.
Nice.